Welcome to Previously On, a podcast series created to help you through some of the most complex yet brilliant television ever made. Game of Thrones Season 3, Episode 3, Walk of Punishment. The body of Lord Hoster Tully, Catelyn's father, lies upon a funeral boat drifting slowly along the Trident River. Among those gathered are Robb, Catelyn, Brendan Blackfish Tully, Hoster's younger brother, and Hoster's youngest son, Edmure Tully, who's slightly wet behind the ears. Edmure is tasked with firing the arrow that will light the funeral pyre, but misses the drifting boat 3 times before a disgusted Brendan pushes him aside and takes the shot himself, walking away immediately as his arrow finds its target behind him. Back in Riverrun's meeting room, Robb is angry at Edmure, who he believes has weakened their position with his rash attack on the Lannister army led by the Mountain. The strategy to lure the Lannister armies to the Westerlands now lies in tatters. In King's Landing, the new hand of the king, Tywin Lannister, calls the first meeting of the small council since his arrival. Present are Littlefinger, Varys, Pycelle, Cersei and Tyrion. Tywin is furious that they've still not found his son Jaime and demands action. It's also agreed that Littlefinger will marry Lady Lysa Arryn in a bid to further weaken Robb's position in the war. With Littlefinger to travel to the Vale to woo his future bride, Tyrion is made Master of Coin, a bit like a treasurer, but the mistakes are a tad more harshly punished. Somewhere deep in the wooded Riverlands, Locke and his detachment of Bolton men transport the captured Jaime and Brienne. Bound back to back, the captives talk as they travel. Jaime tells Brienne she'll be raped by the Bolton men and she shouldn't struggle. Brienne quite rightly sets him straight on that. Elsewhere in the Riverlands, at the inn at the crossroads, Arya, Hot Pie and Gendry are still with the Brotherhood without banners. Arya spots the Hound and tries to confront him about the last time he was here, where he killed Arya's friend Mycah, but the Hound is quickly bundled away. As the trio get ready to leave the inn, Hot Pie breaks the news that he'll stay, as payment from the Brotherhood after proving his talent as a cook. North of the Wall, the Wildling army reach the Fist of the First Men, where the White Walkers were, and are greeted by a field of decapitated horses laid out in an extravagant pattern on the ground. Jon notices it's only horses on the ground, but Orell insists that he saw dead crows of the Night's Watch there earlier. Jon asks if anyone could have got away. Mance tells him that although possible, dead or alive, they're a long way from home. Mance then tells Tormund to take 20 men, including Jon, as he knows Castle Black's defences, and climb the wall. He says he'll signal when his own attack is ready by lighting the biggest fire the North has ever seen. Tormund's also told that should Jon prove to be a traitor, he should chuck him off the wall. Further south, Jeor Mormont leads what remains of his Night's Watch to Craster's Keep. Craster begrudgingly allows the men shelter. Sam wanders off from the group, following the sounds of Gilly, the daughter he took a shine to last time, giving birth nearby. A boy is born, and to their horror, they realise he'll be sacrificed to the White Walkers. Up north, Theon is aided by a young man who frees him from the dungeon, gives him a horse and tells him to ride east. On the beach at Dragonstone, Stannis believes Melisandre is deserting him as she prepares to leave. He asks for another son, like the one she conjured to kill Renly, to help him kill Joffrey and Robb, but she says he's not strong enough. Stannis reminds her that she told him her magic requires a king's blood, and she reveals there are others with his blood, and that the Lord of the Light demands sacrifices. Meanwhile, in sunny Astapor, Daenerys, Jorah and Barristan see the Walk of Punishment, where insubordinate slaves are crucified as a warning to others. Daenerys attempts to comfort a slave with water, but the slave only wishes to die. At a meeting with Krasnys Mona Kloz, the slave owner, Daenerys declares she would like to buy all 8,000 unsullied. This amuses Krasnys, who mockingly asks through his translator Missandei how she thinks she'll pay for them. To her team's alarm, Daenerys offers him a dragon, and she receives the interpreter Missandei as a gift. Things are looking up for Podrick Payne, the squire who saved Tyrion in the Battle of Blackwater, as Tyrion rewards him with 3 prostitutes. Later, when Podrick returns, he still has all the money for payment, and tells Tyrion and Bronn that the prostitutes wouldn't take it from him. Astounded, Tyrion and Bronn gather round Pod the Rod for info. Podrick Payne clearly has moves. Tyrion discovers that Littlefinger borrowed a lot of money as Master of Coin, and that tens of millions are owed to the Iron Bank of Braavos, who will back their enemies if they're not paid back. It's worth noting here that the Lannisters' motto is, "A Lannister always pays their debts." In the north, Theon realises he's being hunted by his former captors and is knocked from his horse. Just as they're about to rape him, the mysterious man who freed him before deftly kills them all and rescues Theon again. It's night in the Riverlands, and as predicted by Jaime, the Bolton men drag Brienne into the bushes to rape her. Jaime tells Locke that she is Brienne of Tarth, and her father, Lord Selwyn of Tarth, will pay her ransom in sapphires if she is unharmed, and Locke calls his men off. Jaime tries his luck even further, promising vast payment and titles in exchange for his release. Locke has Jaime untied from his bindings, and Jaime thinks he's sorted, but instead is pinned to a chopping block and watches as a carving knife slices through his sword-fighting hand, cutting it clean off. The one-handed Kingslayer's screams fill the night sky. Thanks for listening. Hope it's been helpful. Listen, if you've enjoyed this, I would love it if you subscribed. We've got loads more shows where this came from, and we'd love you to join us for them. If you know someone who needs to get up to speed with Thrones, just send them our way. A 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts from would also be absolutely fantastic. If you've got any feedback, have I pronounced a name wrong? I hope I haven't. Or ideas for a show that we should be covering? We'll almost certainly be doing the big ones, but you never know. There may be others that we've missed. Let us know. I'd love to hear from you over on Twitter. You can find us at Previous Podcast, or just email us hello@previouslyon.co.uk. Previously On is presented by Jamie East and is a Daft Doris production.